Hey y'all, it's me, Talisa Ray, and this is yet another edition of Truthful Thursday. And listen, I'm sorry for posting late. I had one other thing going, and it changed from a friend of mine. He asked me what the topic was going to be today, and I went on to explain what it was. And then the conversation evolved. One of the things he asked me is, Talisa, what is your definition of a fuckboy? What? I said, do you know what a fuckboy is? He was like, yeah, but what's your definition of a fuckboy? I said, a man that is not ready to make a commitment, a man that sleeps with variety of women, many different women at the same time, or in succession of one another, with no intent of making a commitment. There was a chuckle, a little silence, and he said, you do understand that is most men at some point in time in their life. I said, yes, but at my age, I would think that it should be over, coming to a close. It's really important to know who you're dealing with. I mean, if you're dealing with a dude that has been in and out of prison in the earlier part of his life, of course, he didn't get a chance to frolic around and have a good time, and in his 20s he was too busy serving time. So once he gets home, he feels like he has to play catch up. And then you got the ugly duckling who again didn't get to go anywhere, didn't do really much, and once he gets that look or feels like he's got that swag or whatever it's called now, he feels like he has to play catch up. And I just want you to know, he went on to say something to the effect of, well, just so you know, women want a successful man. They also want him to look good. But if he's successful, you do run the risk of having many women throw themselves at him, whether he's successful in the streets as a doughboy or successful in his everyday regular career as a white collar or blue collar professional. The more successful they are, the more temptation. See, it's this thinking that makes us very skeptical to move forward in relationships. It makes us hardens our hearts, makes us really bitter, just makes us cynical towards men. I said, hold on, wait. So at what point does your moral and value kick in? I mean, it's not that we don't know that this is how men are, but we figure, most of us anyway, figure that at some point a man's morals and values kick in and they decide, I'm going to make a decision for the benefit of my relationship. I mean, because in my life, it's God, man, woman, child. And for me, if my man is following God, no one's perfect, of course, but if my man's following God, he's doing his damnedest not to jeopardize our relationship, because I am an extension of him. And though that is all true and he agreed with me 100%, he still said that the temptation is so much so, especially in the day and age that we live, that it's hard for men to resist. I said, well, shit, they need to grow some balls. But hey, again, he's not saying anything that we aren't aware of. I mean, it reminds me of something that a wise woman once said. She said, Talisa, if you were walking around and your anatomy was dangling around all day long and it got excited and erect at the wind blowing, at some cute girl walking by, it stood at attention, how often do you think that they would act on those impulses? I mean, it was really food for thought. Women, we say, well, what is it that we could do differently to prevent them from cheating? There is nothing we can do. They have to want to not do it. They have to respect you and themselves enough to make a conscious decision not to cheat. And even then, it's difficult. I mean, hell, you look at pastors. They have women throwing themselves at them left and right. So a pastor who is under the ordinance of God and commissioned to do a certain thing has temptation and has to resist it. Even he may give in at times. But listen, I mean, I have to respect a man that is honest and open. Like, I respect a man that's honest and open. I had a fella say, hey, listen, we're only dating women that we want to build relationships with. Every other woman, we want to hit a couple times and leave them alone. I mean, it's not that this is something we don't know. It's just We just need to be reminded. We need to be reminded, and we need to now make sure we understand what we're up against and ask the right questions. So yeah, I don't want you to give up on love. I still want you to be open to receive it. I don't want you to be bitter or blocked or think that every man is out to hurt us or out to get us or have a hidden agenda. I don't want you to think that. I still want you to know that love is good, that God is love. And so as such, we just have to make sure that we're aware, that we know what the intent is. Because if we're listening carefully, they're going to tell us what their intent is. If their intent is to build a relationship, that's what they're going to say. If their intent is just to hop in and out of somebody's bed, they're going to say that too. Listen, I just want us to be aware. I don't want us to be looking later like, well, I didn't know. They told us. We knew. I mean, women, what's a girl to do? You have to be aware of who you're dealing with. You have to listen to what their intent is. Some people are ready for relationships and some are not. You have to really hear what they say when they say it. You have to believe it when they tell you it's the truth. I mean, it ain't like you don't know it already. So what do you say? Do you think, oh, then there's no hope for you having a monogamous, committed relationship? I would disagree. There is still hope for you in your monogamous, committed relationship. I'm Talisa Ray, and thank you for watching edition of Truthful Thursday. I love you all very much. Please be safe and enjoy your weekend. I will get back at you next week. You don't believe me? Check out some real men and real relationships sharing their stories in Why Married Men Cheat by Miss Hitch. It's less than a dub. You can get it off Amazon. You can have it in 2 days.